Let's see if I can't get into presenter mode.
It's on.
There we go. Okay. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what is success. I did have a little bit of a review. I know we've got a couple of new guys on our team. And so this was good for me to kind of go through what we've heard over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks. And so let's see here. We started off with Steve, right? Steve did our number of days, or he's been alive to number of days he's hoping to live. And this is what I heard. In other words, we're all dying, and I'm halfway there. So nothing like a little bit of encouragement there. Bryce, unfortunately, I missed yours, but I appreciate you sending me your slide deck. And there's no happiness without action. And we get to, right? So we get to update our RTP scores, and we get to update Salesforce, make sure we have a positive attitude. Aaron talking about establishing baselines, especially with local Mexican restaurants. I love Taco Bell, so maybe I need to reassess my own baseline for fast food and Mexican restaurants. Eric talking about A game and the Whoop fitness band. I've just got my my Fitbit over here. I'm just trying to get 10,000 steps every day. So hopefully I'll maybe elevate my status to the A game status of Eric Bonner. Lastly, Christina talking about selling to women. I'm so confused now. I'm trying to think, did I stand across from, did I look her in the face? Did I go side to side? Oh crap, there's a photo of her family up on the shelf, and I didn't ask her about her kids. So those are all kind of some things that we got out of the last couple of weeks. No, they were really good. And it's always so helpful to hear from everybody, and everybody is coming from a different perspective on things. And when we can learn from others' perspectives and see kind of some points of view and takeaway, I think we can all be more successful. I love watching reality TV. It's a I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or not, but one of the reality shows that I really enjoy watching is on Discovery Channel. It's called Alone. It's where these contestants, these outdoor contestants, get dropped off in remote areas, and they try to survive for as long as they can, being all alone. And it's fascinating to see how they cope with that. But every episode, they start with a quote from somebody that kind of has a lot of meaning. And a couple of weeks ago, I was watching an episode, and this quote came up on the screen, and I thought it was so timely, especially as we're dealing with financial institutions, I think, that are afraid to fail, and that failure is and maybe it's the COVID coma that we deal with in sales as we're talking to these people, but that fatality that they're having is not going to be because of maybe missing out on something or failing or whatever the failure might be, but it's probably going to be because their unwillingness to change. And I think that we can have that failure to change, that apprehension to change can keep us from greatness. And so I was like, you know what, this would be great. Let me talk about John Wooden and who he is. I grew up out on the West Coast, so UCLA was my college team that I looked up to when I was growing up. That was back in the days when UCLA football was actually beating USC before Pete Carroll brought in his athletes and paid them all that money so they could win national championships. So looking at who is John Wooden, he was the coach of the UCLA Bruins basketball team from 1948 to 1975. Here's a couple of his accomplishments. If you were to ask somebody who the most successful college basketball coach ever has been, ever will be, John Wooden would be probably at the top of pretty much everybody's list. When you start to think about his dynasty, it was really impressive. He had 4 undefeated seasons. There have been a total of 7, he had 4 of the 7, and only 3 other coaches have ever been able to do it just one time each. 88 game winning streak, 7 consecutive national championships, and 10 national championships in a span of 12 years. So when you start to think about The Last Dance and Michael Jordan in his 6 championships, Tom Brady with his Super Bowl victories, John Wooden is probably even better than all of those. And where he drew his inspiration was really from his father. You can see there's a picture of John. He's in the middle there. His father's on the far right. But his father had a 7-point creed that he lived by, and he stressed this to John, and it really affected him growing up and impacted him growing up. I thought these were really good. And really number 4, I thought was making each day your masterpiece. And it kind of goes back to what Steve was saying and talking about, that we do have a limited amount of days, and time. There's nothing, you can't buy more time. And once your day is up, it's over. And each day is unique. So make the most of every day. And sometimes we get so caught up in our lives and future things, and we stop to, and we fail to stop and enjoy each and every day. And so I thought that was really good. There's just some really good things in that little list, but it helped John Wooden craft a definition of success. And so when you look at what success is, if I was to ask any of you what success is when it comes to basketball, we'd probably all say winning a national championship. Football, the Super Bowl, baseball, World Series. It's all about the outcome determining what success is. And we might even say it in our own sales career. Meeting quota or exceeding quota would be a successful year. But to Coach Wooden, it wasn't the outcome that was the definition of success. For him, it was all about the effort that each of his players put in, knowing that they were doing the best that they were capable of doing. And so with that, knowing that they were doing the best they could do, knowing they were doing and giving 100% of their effort, it gave them a peace of mind that whether they won or lost the game, they were still successful. And so it took all that pressure off of them to win the game. And so they could only control their own selves and what the effort they put in. And it just, the winning, the out of control, it's not in their control. It just gave them that peace of mind. And I thought, what better way for us to live our sales lives? We can't control when they're going to sign that document. We can't control whether they choose Kasasa or they go down a path that's obviously not the better path, right? We all know Kasasa is the best path, but we can't force them to do that. And we can give 100%. We can have the peace of mind knowing that we've given everything that we're capable of doing. And so Coach Wooden came up with what he called the pyramid of success. And I know this is probably a little bit small on your screen. I'll send out the PDF of the presentation. You can Google this. It's 15 building blocks. There's some character traits on the outside that kind of he's filled in over the years. But these are 15 building blocks and really core values that give success and that he gained the most amount of success from and really built his dynasty on. You see down there at the bottom left, industriousness, making sure you're working hard, giving everything you've got, cooperation, team spirit. Those are things that are key to success here at Kasasa as well. And then I even like how he talks about poise there towards the top on the left, right? Being at ease in any situation and not fighting yourself. And I find sometimes, we get into a nervous situation or we get so focused on, I got to close this deal, or I've got to have this outcome that I can't control. And all of a sudden we're doing things that we would never do. We're not staying true to ourselves. And we would never do in a situation. And it ends up muddying up the water and really causes us more harm than goodness. Coach Wooden was also known for a lot of his quotes. And so I pegged out 5 or 6 quotes that I thought were really, really good. And hopefully, as we kind of talk through them, you'll draw some inspiration from them. I thought this was so basic, yet so true. We have to put in the effort. We have to put in the effort when we want something to work. I was listening to a CDS call just the other day, and I think I may have told a few of you about it, but it was with a VP of lending, and he was like, their loan to deposit ratio is in the 50s. And he's like, yeah, I'd be more than willing to talk about how you can help with our loan growth, but I don't want anything that's going to make my job any harder than it already. I don't want to have to do any extra work. And it's like, he's already failed. You can't have success with an attitude of, I'm not going to do any extra work. You have to put in that extra work if you want success. I thought this one probably mirrored what Bryce had to say for all of us. Focus on the positives. We live in an age where social media, regular media, everything is focusing on how bad everything is in the world today. Focus on the positives. We have so many things to be thankful for. And so don't live with that victim mentality. Be a victor and own the situation and be positive. When it talks to team selling, I thought this was amazing. Don't worry about who gets the credit. If we're all working together and we're all about, hey, you know what? As long as Casasa wins, I'm going to win too. I know Mike stresses this a lot with the team selling mentality. We're all in this boat together. Let's make sure we're all winning, and we're all gonna succeed. Activity without achievement. Be quick, but don't hurry. Don't get so wrapped up in running 100 miles an hour and running in the wrong direction. And so you want to make sure that the work you are doing is meaningful, and it's good practice. That it's not just practicing the wrong thing, but it's practicing the right thing, so you're going to achieve success. And then second to last here, you're not a failure until you start blaming others. Own your mistakes. We all make them. Everybody, there's no perfect person, but really where it starts to become a failure of pandemic and really ultimately leading to your demise is when you start to blame others and don't learn from your mistakes. Lastly, and I thought this was probably one of the best ones he had. Don't let the problems of yesterday take up too much of today, right? So focus on your future. Don't dwell on the past. I know sometimes we can get so wrapped up in what's happened in the past, but at the end, let every day is a new day. Every opportunity is a new opportunity, and focus on what you've got going forward. And so then I'll just, again, his definition of success in working hard, having that peace of mind will really come when you know you've put in every effort and done everything you are capable of doing in the situation. So that's pretty much all I have for my KED talk. Hopefully this kind of helps with your definition of success in your own personal life, and you won't be so worried about the outcome, but really worried about what you put into things.
Cool, Ryan. Thanks, buddy. That's great. Any feedback? Anything that any key takeaways that anything that struck you and you thought, hey, that took me down a different path mentally before we wrap this thing up?
Well, I mean, I'll just say I thought that again, once again, that was awesome. I really enjoyed it, and Craig, I'll say, it's been really nice starting off the week with a lot of this positive energy and messaging here as we head into the week, every Monday morning. So, I've really enjoyed this. I'd say of all the team meetings I've been a part of over the years, I think this is probably one of the things I've enjoyed the most about all of them. Cool. Doing this. So, well done, Ryan.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
Ryan, I thought you made a really good point when you mentioned, sometimes when we're, especially at the tail end of a deal, and we find ourselves not being true to ourselves and just essentially sometimes blowing up a deal because the pressure and, you got your higher up saying, you got to do this, then when in your heart what needs to be done. I know I personally have done that in the past and lost deals because of that. That was a good reminder.
I totally agree with that one, Christine. I actually wrote that down, the poise box that you pulled up there, Ryan. And all of us know as salespeople, people can smell desperation. If we're going in there and we're so desperate to close the business, people, nobody likes that. But if we're able to go in, even though we're hungry, and we're able to go in with the mentality of, hey, I've got a great solution. It's either right for you or it's not. But you have to decide if it's right for you or it's not. And doesn't matter either way to me. I'm going to keep moving forward because I've got a great solution here. It's a completely different. It disarms people when you're able to do that. So that was one of the key things I wrote down as well. Anybody else? Cool takeaways?
I think just farm. It seems like he grew up in a farm. Did he grow up in a farm?
He did.
Yeah, farmers just have like this interesting, like, hard work ethic that I think a lot of us take for granted. And I think there's something to that I want to learn more about.
There's a great YouTube video on his website. I'll send out the link. It's about 35, 45 minutes. It goes into his upbringing, his family life. And it was amazing how he was successful in his family life, as well as on the court. Real exciting to see. He didn't sacrifice his family at the altar of winning. So really neat story. Just a short snippet from that. He was married to a woman named Nell, and when UCLA, when he was getting older, I think Nell had already passed away, but UCLA wanted to rename the court there at Pauley Pavilion where the basketball team plays, the John R. Wooden Court. And he said he was flattered, and he only had one requirement, that his wife's name was on the court as well as his, and that his wife's name was first. So it's Nell and John R. Wooden Court. So it just, it really a neat story to see how he lived. He didn't just preach this, he lived it. And that's why I think his players grew up, while they were under his coaching, not to just be great basketball players, but to be great men as well.
That's cool. Do you have a book that you recommend by him or that's written on him? Right.
Yeah, so he does have his book talking about the pyramid of success that he's done. Stop the recording, Craig. I have not read the book.
You made it sound like you read it. It was amazing.
So yeah, I'll be true. Integrity is one of his key pillars there. I'll own
right.
that, right? The YouTube video is very good.
Hey, well done, Ryan. Great job, man. We'll capture this. Hang on, I'll go ahead and kill it.